Hey guys, I hope everybody's doing okay. Okay, so this is a cemetery in, what was the name? Delaware, Pennsylvania. Delaware County. So this guy has gotten over 100 different corpses, dug them out of these cemeteries, these old cemeteries. And this one, there's graves from the 1800s, right? Look at all these obelisks. The male, sending, giving the energy. It's giving the energy. And the domes are the female, the receivers, right? Watch this.
Say rest in peace means rest in peace, and unfortunately these people are not resting.
Then set up a sting and arrested Gerlach after they say he broke into...
Okay, look at this tree. This has been like flooded. This has been flooded. Imagine this dirt is water. It's a flood coming down. Just imagine that is water. And that is the top of a tree right there. Top of trees. And this one, well,
Even more graves. He was found to be in possession of human remains when taken...
like, why would you put two trees together or three trees together? Right? Why would you plant them like that? You wouldn't. Look at these trees back here, how tall before they start. They're real tall. And then they start getting branches. And these are all down. These are tops of the trees over here. Those are tops. Look at this one back here. Like, how old are these trees? Because this is an abandoned cemetery. So it's not like it's new. Like this one. It's closer, but see the split? And back here, look how tall they are before they start to split. You don't plant a tree, it doesn't grow like that. That's multiple trees. Okay, so this dirt, all this dirt, this was flooded. And the trees survived. Can you tell? Can you tell that that's the top of a tree? See this? How tall up this gets, and then it splits. So there's a lot more tree trunk to these underneath. That's the tops of the trees. This one looks dead, you know? But this is old. So what is that guy really doing under there? There's some crazy shit going on in the world.
into custody, according to investigators. The chief of Yeadon police said they wanted to catch Gerlach red-handed. Police say Gerlach admitted to...
That's a dead giveaway. He didn't plant two trees side by side to grow like that. I mean, it's a cemetery. You see how close the grave is there? That tree was already there when it was planted. I mean, you know, it was already planted there when they put the graves in there. That didn't just grow like that. No freaking way. There's no way. Doesn't that look like rushing water right now? So you get the idea that there would be a tree over here. This is up, and then that's deeper, and there's a tree under the water. Well, it's dirt. So what the hell is under the dirt? Because then they put the bodies on top of it. They put the tombstones on top of it. And there's something under the dirt. Yep, Delaware County, PA. So that's really interesting to see that. And I got some things I want to say about reality or the manufactured reality we call news. I don't know, guys. I'm not going to say it in this video, but I really, like, I'm seeing things every day. I want to tell you about it. And it's like, what am I going to do? I don't want to diamond paint anymore. So how do I just say it? You know, what are you looking at? You just look at me holding the camera. So I keep putting it off. And eventually it's going to build up. And then I'm going to be incoherent when I talk. You're not going to know what I'm talking about because I'll be jumping all over the place trying to say everything at once. My mind has too much it wants to say. So I don't know. Okay, I'll do one. So everything was normal. I was still diamond painting. This is like in the spring, early summer. And I decided, Dobby, no licking. I decided that I was going to take her for a walk, but I'm going to set my intentions for what I want to find. And I'm like talking to myself in my head, you know, what I want to find. And I said $100 bill. I want to find $100 bill. And I was like, if there's somebody listening to me, I'm going to be very specific about it. I want to find $100 bill. So if you could do anything and, you know, you're going to show me $100 bill. Because, you know, well, I took Dobby for the walk right after I said that in my head. I didn't say it out loud. And I turned the corner because, you know, that blue house that burnt? My friend used to live. She's the one who took me to get Dobby 2.5 years ago. But I had to go back with Pat to pick her up. But I selected her. And she's the girl that took me. And she lived there 2.5 years ago. So this lady leaves a comment on my video that she's lived there for the past 10 years with her 2 kids. And I'm like, I'm not even arguing. There's no point to argue. What the fuck is wrong with people? I don't know. She has not lived there for 10 fucking years. And I started thinking, you know, like, why do you feel the need to give a backstory? What the fuck is up with that? And then the way that those chicks from the fire department was telling me I'm not going to record her scene and everything. And anyway, I was walking past that house on that side of the street. And I seen a guy there a couple times. Funny, she didn't mention she lived with a man, but all 3 times that I seen anybody there, it was a man. It was the same man. And he even said, "Hi, boy," or "Hey, you boy," something like that to Dobby, and I didn't correct him. He just didn't look like the type of person that you know, he wasn't talking to me, he was talking to the dog, so I just didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. I didn't correct him or anything. A lot of people talk to Dobby. They don't say hi to me. They say hi to her. That's okay. They're showing me that they're friendly people, I guess. So anyhow, I turned the corner, and there's a $100 bill on the ground. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And chills went up and down my spine, and I'm looking at this $100 bill, and I'm like, I'm not taking that bait. I'm not taking that bait. That's not real. And I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking, no, that isn't a real bill. There was just something about it that I was like, no, that's not real. Because, like I said, like I had a fake $100 bill from Temu. I still have some. They're kind of yellow. It's like note paper, Monopoly money, you know. And I dropped one in front of 7-Eleven one time on purpose. And it was gone by the time I came back out the store. And I was just being silly and dropped it. So, but in my head, when I asked to find the $100 bill, that popped into my mind, the fake $100 bill. So now I'm looking at a fake $100 bill on the ground, right? Like I wanted a real one, but like the fact that it was a fake $100 bill, and I had that thought of immediately afterward of me dropping that fake one. So I didn't bend down to pick it up because I was too freaked out. I was freaked the fuck out, and so I just kept walking. And I crossed the street on the other side, and I'm walking back, and I'm thinking I should go over there and look at it some more. I'm like, no, I'm not. It's not real. It's not real. It's a fake bill. I came home, and I thought about it so much that I went out in the dark, in the rain, and walked back over there again. And this time, when I seen it, I bent down, and I touched it with my finger. I put my finger down on top of it. And the sidewalk is made up of these itty-bitty little stones. The cement is made up of lots of little tiny little stones. And my finger went down and touched those stones. And I swiped it. It was wet. And I swiped it. It wasn't paper at all. It was the concrete. It was the concrete. It was like ink on the concrete. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. And I turned around and I come back home. And I freaked out over this, right? And I've been thinking about it today because, you know, every day I watch and see about the ICE arrest. They get 50 guys, 100 guys. And they're all, you know, drug trafficking, sex trafficking, human trafficking, weapons, and the money, and all this shit. The money laundering and all this stuff. And just, they said something like, at the first sign of trouble, these houses that have all this activity, this illegal activity, the first sign of trouble, they just ghost it. They just get out. And then it started making me think. Because the first time I ever walked up this one street, I'm not getting in and out right now. Well, I noticed somebody lived there and there was a dog there. And the next day when I went up, there was no curtains in the window and the dog was there. And there was this guy, he walked past me and he was checking me out and he walked past me and he just fed the dog. And I'm like, why are you feeding the dog? Because I'm thinking, do you feed my dog when you walk by? Why would you feed somebody else's dog? And it wasn't registering that nobody was living there anymore. Whoever was there left. And who was this guy that he come up behind me like that, the way he was looking at me? It's like, he creeps me out. I see him all the time. He creeps me the fuck out. Whatever. I don't know who he is or what he's doing, but he creeps me the fuck out. Anyway, there's a building down here across from that blue house that the fire was at. And this summer, because it's got a really ugly tree in the front yard, this summer somebody went in there and they, you know, because they come and they cut the grass and stuff like that. It's pretty bad, but they'll do it once in a while, you know, for years. It's been empty and everything. But once in a while they do it. Well, they took the whole fucking tree down this time. I was glad to see it go. What was in that building, it used to be a printing press in there. And so I'm like, I'm thinking, I don't know what's what, but it's crazy how all this shit's going together. Because there's at least a half dozen immigrants that just moved into houses. I only walked down a couple blocks. What the fuck? It's a little bit fucking crazy, some of the things I see, and then over time you start adding up things, and it's like, Tell me I have an overactive imagination. You know, well, what the fuck? How do you put fake money on the ground? How do you ink money on the ground like that? I don't fucking know. I don't know. But I couldn't let it go. The first time I knew it wasn't real. I knew it was fake, but I had to go back and see. And then the only thing on the ground is like an imprint of ink of a dollar bill. And it's a printing press across the street. And then, if this is so big that this is a takeover of the fucking country, and they've got people in place in our courts, our judges, fucking cops, the feds are in on it, you know? Like, they had to redo the FBI and everything. The cops, the fire department, because we know what the fuck going on in California with the motherfuckers covering up the fires out there, right? They all got to be in a clique. And for that little girl, she's a fireman, to come at me so aggressively out of nowhere and tell me I can't record her scene. Like, what was going on in that fucking house? What the fuck is going on in this neighborhood? It's getting fucking crazy. I don't know. I quit going out. It's colder, so I don't really walk the lobby as much. There's some crazy shit going on. I know that there's illegals in the neighborhood, and I don't really give a fuck if they're just good people, and I'm just crossing my fingers thinking they're just good people. But like, this person disappearing when I walked by, and that girl that lived in the house that took me to go get Dobby, she's the one who told me there was some human trafficking going on up the way a little bit. And then the story she told me about her man that she was sharing his boyfriend, and the things that he had her doing, and the drugs involved, and holy shit, because he died. And when he died, I was thinking, I made videos, I took it down because I thought I was just getting too much of her personal information out there, and I thought I was very wrong to do it, so I took it down, and I'm like, don't do that shit no more. But it crossed my mind she was looking for an alibi, because when she came in here, she was lingering. And I couldn't figure out why. But the next day when she's talking to me about it, because he died. Did he die at her fucking house? I think he died at her house. And she was telling me about it and stuff. I was wondering, why the fuck was she lingering? And then she tried to tell me the time frame. And I was like, no. Like, you were here between this time and this time. And so I started thinking, like, is she trying to set up an alibi for where she was when this motherfucker died? That he died a different way or something? I don't know. But he wasn't the greatest of character. He was into some shit. I didn't like him. He's the type of person, he's a mind fuck.
For 60 years,
he's a mind fuck. He could try. It's kind of hard with me because, you know, he could try to get you to do something. If I wasn't who I was and think the way that I think, he would have gotten away with it. He would have got away with manipulating my mind and getting me to do shit. You know what I mean? He was like, he could groom you, is what I'm saying. There's guys out there, like, listen, it's so bad. When I lived in McKeesport, this motherfucker come up in my house. All I did is open the door. I didn't know who the fuck he was. He come in my house. He think he gonna run me. He think he gonna get me high like that's what I want to do. And I'll do anything to get high, right? I told him to get out of my house. He wouldn't get out of my house. And he's acting like that's what I want to do, right? So I called the cops and pretended I was talking to my mother. Because I was scared shitless of this one. He had a plastic clock around his fucking neck. Remember when people were doing that? Hello, Alice. With that white rabbit. So the cops come and they got him. And everything was good. Until like an hour later, he come knocking on my fucking door. He told the cops that I was his girlfriend and they let him go. They didn't ask me any of that. What did I tell them did I say that? What the fuck did I say when they got there? They let this motherfucker go. I opened my door again thinking I was going to see cops wanting to know more information because they didn't get a lot of information, and it was him. And he just came right in the fucking door and shut it behind him. And he spit dope out of his mouth in a little baggie. Look, you think that was funny? I still got it. They didn't even check my mouth. This is the police around here. It's gone. We are under Sharia already. Constitution, United States constitutional law, they don't acknowledge it. Everybody who is not a Muslim is considered an infidel, and you cannot commit a crime against an infidel. So they don't give a fuck what happens to any American citizen unless they're in the game. It's an octopus with many arms. Okay? So I know firsthand on how people are going to play you and manipulate you to try to get you to get high, try to get you to lose everything you got, they're taking you down. They want all your possessions. And this is how they're doing it. You ever see Serpent in the Rainbow? Yeah. There's some crazy shit going on, and our government hasn't been our government for a long time. That's why I've been like anti-government and not caring. I don't believe them. And then all of a sudden Trump come along. And it started making sense now that there is a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans. And the Republicans is the United States. And the Democrats is this force trying to bring down the United States. Because our enemies are out there. And the only way you're going to bring us down is from the inside. And they know it. And that's what they've been trying to do for all these years. And that's why the Democrats keep on allowing this shit to continue. Because they are not us. They are invaders. You understand? Mandami, he got sworn in as mayor on the Quran. That's Sharia law. Okay? He sworn an oath to Allah and Sharia law. Not our law. Do you understand? And what I seen, he got sworn in underground in the Old World Tunnel. You understand? Old World. The underground. With the big smile on his face. And my friend said, well, what I saw, he got sworn in out on the steps. I was like, no, he got sworn in the underground. That's what I seen. That is very symbolic. And I'm going to let you figure it out from there. So anyway, I'm freaked out over reality because my thoughts manifest when I walk out my fucking door. It's freaking me out. And it's not just this. It's been happening like my whole life. I was praying. I was talking to my dad. In my head, I thought I was talking to my dad. And I'm like, Dad, I want to find $100. I really need some money. Put a red mark on the bill so I'll know it's from you if I find money. Help me out here. I really need some help. And that was way back when I was in Myrtle Beach. And I walked out my door and I went shopping, and I found a wallet, and on one of the $20 bills that was inside the wallet, there was a red stamp from the bank on the eagle. This been going on my whole life, okay? Anyways, sorry I didn't give you much to look at, but some weird looking trees. I'm telling you, man. This was flooded. Those are tree tops. Those are tree tops. Oh, here, look on this one. Right? It's just the top of the tree. All right, guys. I hope you have a good night. Peace out and God bless.